Okay, welcome everybody. As everyone is jumping into today's webinar, so excited to be joined by Ali. Thank you so much for being here from Minoan. Pumped and excited to learn about how we can save when we're really putting our rentals together. And you're going to talk about furnishing and all the cool things that free resources we have access to. So thank you for being on. Thanks for being here with us in our community. Welcome. So before we jump into Ali here, she's going to talk a lot here about, again, topic is so important, is that how do you really save and maximize your investments, right? There's a lot of strategies to that, but I'm excited, Ali, to have you here today. I want to just share a little bit about InvestHer for those who are not familiar with our community. And as you're getting acclimated and joining, we have a lot of people who are joining here. I want you to put in the chat box here where you're calling in from, where you're zooming in from. Would love to hear your name, what you're excited about learning today. I love these webinars. I love what we do here because this is about one thing that you're going to learn and one thing you're going to do. Okay, so we're all about learning something and we're all about taking action. So that is the commitment for today. Hey, Shandell from, I don't know where you're from. Oh man, that's going a little quick. I got to go quicker here on my chat. Omega Smith, welcome from Georgia. All right, awesome. Someone from Austin. Alicia, are you coming to InvestHerCon? You're in Austin. You know our InvestHerCon is there on June 2nd to 4th, which I'll talk about in a second. But anyway, I had to say that because you tell me you're from Austin. But you're really excited. You're trying your hand at furnishing your first MTR. You're very excited for this class. Very cool. Well, you're in good hands here. You're on vacation. That's okay. We appreciate you being here. Melissa, you're from South Texas. Awesome. And if you can put in the, oh, awesome, Melissa, you're volunteering for InvestHerCon. Awesome. So excited to meet you. If you can also, as I'm going to share a few quick slides with all of you, what are you excited about learning here today? Because, you know, what really this is about making sure you get your needs met. And as Ali's presenting and sharing, she can look at those and say, making sure she incorporates those items in her presentation, or we do that for Q&A. We really do this live. Ali is here live with you, so mine is not pre-recorded because we really want to field questions and we want to serve you in real time. We take that seriously. So if you can share a little bit about what you want to get out of today. And honestly, I would recommend you do that in every webinar you join, whether it's InvestHer or not. Go in with an intention. Go in with something you want to learn, because the chances are you're going to learn that. Rather than nothing else to do, 2 o'clock Eastern time, you know, and I know that's not how women roll, not women in our community. They don't have time for that. So going in with an intention is always really powerful. Very cool. Thank you for sharing those, everybody, as more and more people are joining us. So I'm going to share my screen here. Of course, I always see here. Oh, I see what's going on. This is already going. Sorry, guys. One second. Why is this giving me problems? Zoom is giving me issues, but stay here with everyone. I'm just trying to get my, I don't know why I'm not having a hard time sharing my screen now. So I don't want to take too much time here from Ali, and I don't want to take too much time for all of you because we have time here scheduled. So I'm just going to share briefly a little bit about InvestHer. Please know we do these webinars twice a month, so please stay connected. You can just go to our events page. If you're not in our Facebook community, we have a growing Facebook community. We also have meetups, 50 plus meetups across the country, and a number of them in Canada. And those are there for you to have small circles of women that you could really support and support you on your journey. 2 events I want to just make mention of. One is May 1st. Andres and I are doing a live mastermind for free right outside of Philadelphia for those who are close to the Philadelphia area. It's going to be in media. You'll see that on our events page. It's a free event. It's about what we love to do is diving into people's situations, their investing business. What goal do they have that they want to move kind of closer to in a more effective way? And we'll be unpacking that and allowing women to share what's coming up for them during a mastermind session. So that's May 1st in the evening. I think it's 6 to 8. And the second event, and Ali, will you be there in June as well? Are you going to be there in June?
You know, guys, I will unfortunately not be there in June. I'm expecting my first baby a week from today.
Oh, geez. Oh, well, then you'll be busy on another
Yes,
front, right?
I will be
Um,
busy. Thank you guys. But my team will be there, and we're all very excited. So this was my way to give back to invest her, and my
oh,
team
that's
is really
awesome.
looking forward to the event.
That's so cool. But that's June 2nd to 4th. For those who are not are familiar or haven't heard or living under a rock, we're doing our annual conference. The theme is going all in, taking control of your financial futures. We have 30 speakers, 3 days, at a beautiful resort in Austin, Texas, at the Omni. So come be with us and really be around these powerhouse women. We have 500 women coming, 35 companies going to be there that have phenomenal resources for you too. So super pumped, but please come. It's getting to the date and we'd love for more women to be there as well. So without further ado, Ali, excited to have you here. Love what Minoan is up to. The more I learn about what you guys do, the more I'm like, I gotta get a short-term rental because I'm more in the multifamily space. But this session's all about really maximizing, women's investments and saving. And so I want to give you the floor to kind of present your deck, and then we're going to come back together to do some Q&A. So if I can request everyone, play full out and put your questions in the Q&A box. Don't put them in the chat box because then that gets kind of a little wonky. So please put them in the Q&A box, and then we'll go from there. But thanks so much for being here, Ali. Appreciate you being here.
Well, Liz, thanks so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here. Yeah, I didn't know if I would make it timing wise, but I'm thrilled I was able to join. And again, super bummed I can't be at the event. Meet some of you in person. But I couldn't be more excited to talk to you guys today a little bit about Minoan and what we do, but more importantly, how to think about furnishing your short-term, midterm, even long-term rentals, and really invest in the furnishing, but also rethink the economics of your business, which is really like the entire ethos of Minoan, which we'll get into here. Before I get started, I saw a lot of comments where people are calling in from, and there were some lovely tidbits about where you're at. It sounds like a lot of people have just furnished a property or are furnishing a property. I would love if everyone could just comment in where you're at in your real estate investing journey. Do you have a property? Do you have multiple properties, midterm, short term? Maybe you don't have a property yet, but you're looking for one. Just give me a sense of where everyone's at. Multiple long-term rentals, 2 STRs, awesome. First property, 9 midterm rentals, amazing. Wow, great. Okay, awesome. One amazing, 1 short term, 5 properties. Wow. Okay, great. So a lot of like seasoned professionals, it seems, in the room. And so again, thank you so much for being here and investing your time. And hopefully you'll still, even though it seems like many of you have real estate portfolios and I'm sure have furnished many properties, hopefully you'll leave here today with some tidbits so that when you get the next property or when you're going through restocks and refurnishing, you can leverage Menan and leverage some of these insights. So really quick, before I dive in, I'll introduce myself. My name's Ali. I am the head of partnerships at Minoan. Everyone was commenting in where they're from. I'm calling in from Brooklyn, New York, where I live. I have been at Minoan for 2 years now. Joined the company actually about 2 years, almost to the day. And prior to that, I spent my career in advertising sales, first at CNN, and then the majority of the time at Google. And I give you this context because when I was at Google, I led our new business sales team. And you might be thinking to yourself, what does new business sales look like at a company like Google? Everyone is using their platform for advertising. It's really one of the first channels that a lot of these brands turn to when it comes to marketing. And that was certainly the case. I was working with, a lot of new startups or very traditional companies that had been timid about digital advertising and how to dip their toe in. And one of the things that I learned there that really drew me to ultimately make the jump at Minoan was I would talk to these CEOs and these CMOs day in, day out about their digital marketing strategies. And again, a lot of these were new companies. They had slim marketing dollars. And so they really wanted to find a way to maximize their investment on digital platforms. And I would have calls with them and they would say, Allie, if I can just get my product in the hands of consumers, in the hands of customers to try one time, I know they'll fall in love with the product. They'll come back, they'll buy it again. I'll have a repeat customer. I know that they'll fall in love with it. I just need them to buy it once. I need them to touch it. I need them to feel it. I need them to experience it. And really, like, getting someone over that hump was a very difficult thing in marketing. Again, especially when we were competing with brands that had, millions of dollars to pour into their ad budget. So I really started rethinking the way that I thought about the power of real life moments with products and how hospitality partners and these properties could really be vehicles, almost like showrooms for these brands. And the stars aligned, and I found Minoan, which is again the company that I joined 2 years ago, that was really founded under this core belief that the best product experiences do not happen on screens the way they do in e-commerce, where you're zooming in on products or you're looking at the specifications or you're, combing through tons of different reviews. And they don't even really happen on shelves, right? Like they do in stores. Maybe the box is all, messed up, or, it's shoved in a aisle this narrow, or you're shopping for a mattress and there you are lying, at Mattress Firm with kids jumping on the bed all around you, right? It's not really the best way to experience products. And that's what our founder and CEO, Mark, believed when he founded Minoan 4 years ago now. He was in a short-term rental property in upstate New York. He and his wife, Kate, were escaping the city for the weekend. And they had one of these experiences in their Airbnb. They woke up, they were like, wow, that was the best sleep we've had in months. Like, what is this mattress? The sheets are so soft. Like, what brand is this? We love this. They went and they started cooking breakfast. They're like, these knives are so much sharper and better than the ones we have at home. Mark's like, all right, I'm going to go take a shower. Gets out of the shower. That shower had, the pressure was so amazing, right? And so he started realizing, he's like, I am compelled after staying here for a weekend. I want to go purchase all of these items. And so he started talking to the host and he said, hey, can you send me what mattress this is or what sheets these are? And the host was like, yeah, here's a bunch of links. And he's like, wait a second, these aren't even affiliate links. Are you making any money on, he's like, I'm about to go buy these sheets. Like, do you make any money back? Oh, no, we don't. And so again, Mark really saw this vision of the power that hospitality spaces can have for brands, for the property owners who should be making money out of these beautiful and intentional moments of inspiration that they're creating, not to mention consumers who get to go to a property and actually experience products in real life. And so we set out on a mission to build a business where real estate investors like yourselves, whether that's short-term rental hosts, mid-term rental hosts, can purchase everything that they need for their rentals at discounted pricing. Why discounted pricing? Because when we are pitching these brands, we're framing you guys not just as customers, we're framing you all as marketing partners. You're essentially becoming showrooms for their products, and therefore you shouldn't have to be paying full price for anything that goes into your rentals. So again, kind of reframing the way that you think about your property, not just as a hospitality space, but also as a vehicle for brands can really change the ROI that you'll see. The other thing is, in doing this and in kind of creating this business, we realized that a lot of real estate investors were shopping like consumers for their businesses. Now, this might work for one property, two properties where you have an Excel spreadsheet, you've got a pile of receipts on your desk that you're trying to keep organized. You've got emails coming in from Wayfair, West Elm, IKEA, Target, Costco, and you're tracking everything. You're trying to figure out where everything's coming from. But as you scale your portfolio, this gets way more difficult to manage. Several of you commented in that you have multiple properties already or that you're looking to invest in more properties. And as you scale from 1 to 5 to 10 to 50 properties, managing the furnishing and the restocking and the inventory process gets really tedious. And so in addition to saving you a ton of money upfront on what you're putting in your rental, we really wanted to make it very easy, very seamless, and make sure that there was a one-stop shop for you to organize this furnishing process. So we'll talk a little bit about that today. At this point, we have placed hundreds of thousands of orders for real estate investors, ranging from a one-bedroom, a short-term rental property to a 100-door boutique hotel. And so we know and we see, again, just how tedious this process is to manage, and we've learned a lot along the way. And so these are what we call like our 5 truths to furnishing. Again, some of them are a little bit more obvious than others. So I'll walk you through them. And again, feel free, as I'm going, please jump in, ask questions along the way. But hopefully these will, as you go, help you scale again your real estate portfolio and really help you furnish like a pro. All right. The first truth is that the stuff that you put in your rental matters. It matters a lot. And unfortunately, it's often a part of the process that is overlooked. Now, why does this matter? Well, the reviews tell all, right? When people are going on vacation or they're traveling for business, or maybe you're housing a traveling nurse in one of your midterm rentals, or you're hosting a family who's been put out because of a disaster that's taken place at their home. They want these properties to feel like home or better, right? Ideally aspirational, but definitely comfortable enough to feel like they can really enjoy their space. And what tends to happen, or what we've seen happen, is that people will do all of the legwork up front to focus on the perfect property, the best location. They've studied the market. They know the nuance of the deal. They've crunched all of their numbers. And they've invested so much time to find the perfect property. But then, of course, they want to rush it and get it live as soon as possible. We totally understand that. But they tend to skimp on that process, leaving the property feeling like really lackluster or filled with products that are low quality, low grade. What ends up happening is that it does come out in the wash. When a guest leaves, they're going to leave reviews about it. And so we just pulled a couple examples here that I love. My personal favorite on the upper right here: drab, noisy, with beds that are best described as torture devices. That if I were a guest and I'm looking to book a stay, that's not a place that I'm going to want to spend my time, right? Meanwhile, I love the coffee, the media cube, the bed, the makeup towels, right? Every aspect of the space is simply spectacular. It just makes it feel like it's going to be an elevated experience. It's going to be someplace where you can feel really comfortable, and that you have all of the amenities at home. Why does this matter? Because again, we all know the importance of reviews. Reviews have become vital for every type of business, e-commerce, right? If you think about, ordering food delivery, you're always looking at the reviews. It's the same thing when you think about your investment properties. People are looking at reviews to make decisions. And the nicer design and amenities, the more positive the guest experience, the more five-star reviews, and ultimately the more you're able to charge and the higher occupancy rate you're going to see. And so again, all of this will bleed back into the return on investment that you see out of your property. And so make sure that when you are, analyzing this deal, that you're including in here a cost for furnishing, setup, maintenance year over year, right? Replacing items that are gross or that have broken. We've all stayed at those properties near the beach where we're sitting on the couch and it's like, the material is worn because of how many people have sat on it in their sandy bathing suits. That's fine. But over time, you need to make sure that you're budgeting that in to make sure that you're sprucing it up, because this will really impact the ROI of your property. And so investing upfront can really go a long way. The second is building a system. And one more thing that I'll say about this is just, acknowledging that, by the way, this goes hand in hand with other things that you have to do as a real estate investor or as a short-term rental host, right? Guest communication, of course, is going to be super important. So this is not to say that, if you have a beautifully designed property, but you're not managing things on the ground quickly enough, or the property's not clean, right? Of course, that's also going to impact things. But I think that the furnishing and just like the products that are put into homes can oftentimes be overlooked. The second is building a system is critical. I talked about this a little bit at the top of the call of, why Minoan was founded and what we believe. As you scale your portfolio, it gets really difficult to manage. And again, we work with investors that some have up to 50 different properties. And so when you're looking back on what you ordered for every single home, or you're looking to, again, replace items, you get to the end of the year, you want to do your taxes, you want to do your bookkeeping, you want to do your invoicing. It can be a lot to manage. And so we think that the system that we've built is really strong. You don't have to use Minoan, but our recommendation is that you find a way to keep yourself organized, because very easily it can get out of hand. And it can be really, really, really overwhelming to manage. With Minoan, you can purchase from a bunch of different brands at deep discounts in one place, and you can order, or you can track and manage all of those orders in one spot. What does that mean? It means rather than fielding email after email from all of these different brand partners, all you have to do is log in and think of it almost as like an inventory management system of what's the delivery date, what are the tracking numbers, how much should I pay for this? Okay, I need to download and send this to my cleaner in order to replace. Everything's housed in one spot. So again, make sure that you have some type of solution to organize everything that you're purchasing for the home, so that it's really easy for you to do maintenance and restocks. This one's really important. I saw some comments at the top of the meeting. Someone I think said they found a desk for $5, and like that's amazing. And you really don't need a Restoration Hardware budget to succeed. We work with Restoration Hardware. We get an awesome discount on their products, but it's very expensive, right? And at the end of the day, you're looking to make a profit. You have people staying at the property. I don't even own Restoration Hardware in my everyday home for myself. So this feels a little out of reach. But I just told you it's really important to have high quality, high grade products. Okay, so What does that look like? Well, it really means prioritizing the right things and investing in the right places. We call this the Manan Matrix. And when we think about where investors should be putting their dollars from a furnishing perspective, this is really what we believe in, right? So, functionality, how this stuff feels, how good is that product at solving the job that needs to be done, right? It needs to be functional, it needs to be easy to use, and it needs to feel good. Aesthetics is how they look, right? Is it, really aspirational? Is it very basic? Making sure that, again, how it looks in the home is nice. So let's talk about some of these quadrants. On the upper right, this is really where we believe that real estate investors should be putting the bulk of their budget for furnishings and for products. Think about things we always say where people sit, sleep, and eat, right? Where are they spending the majority of their time? Where are they sitting? They're sitting in the living room. They want a place where if it's a family rental, they can sit down with their family and play a game at night. If it's, again, a business person traveling for work, they want a place to be able to sit down after a long day and just relax and unwind and watch TV. It's that common space area, right? Don't go and buy a really cheap sofa from Amazon that's going to fall apart after a little kid runs in and jumps on it, right? You want something that's going to be really durable. And sure, it should look good, but it's something that's going to really withstand the test of time. Those key pieces are worth investing. Same thing with like a mattress. Again, especially in the master bedroom, the primary bedroom, where the person that's booking the property is going to be sleeping. You want to make sure that mattress, those linens are comfortable, are clean, are high quality, right? And so that's a place that's worth investing more money in. Maybe some places where you can skimp, right? So you must be like, all right, where can I get cost efficiencies? This really comes down to like artwork, right? Or things that are more decor pieces. You definitely don't want it to be blank or feel like a cold space, but you also don't need to be investing in Picasso grade artwork for your rental properties. And so that's a place where we often say, you might be able to cut corners and cheapen cost. And so just think about this balance as you're, again, going back. It's really important to have a budget in mind and have that baked into your deal for real estate investing. It can be expensive to furnish a property, and so don't leave that line item out. And then think about within that, what rooms you want to prioritize, what items you need to be prioritizing so that all of a sudden you don't spend, a big bulk of the budget on items that, are sitting in the spare guest bedroom that no one's going to see or sit on. Make sure that you're prioritizing the areas that are getting the highest amount of traffic. I think, the good thing about Minoan that I love as someone that works there, but also someone that's been a customer, is that we have a good range of brand partners. I mentioned we don't need a restoration hardware budget to succeed, though we do have them. But we also have, players like Wayfair that are just more cost conscious and affordable. And so again, balancing this as you're thinking about furnishing is really important. This is a big one. Again, this goes into the thought process of you've purchased the home. Everyone wants to get it launched as quickly as possible. We totally understand every single missed day that rental property is not live. We know you're in the red, you're losing money that you could be making. This is one of the things that we find frustrates real estate investors or people that are furnishing their properties is the lead times. And they're not accounting for that, again, when they're crunching their numbers of the deal, or they're not thinking, far enough in advance to get those orders placed so that high quality couch can arrive in time. And this is, again, where it's kind of a cyclical cycle. If the lead times are too long, people end up resorting to lower grade, less quality products that ultimately break and that you end up having to repurchase over and over and over again. These are our average times across all of we have over 150 different brand partners. And the lead times for some of these items are quite long, right? There are quick ship options with a lot of these brands. So, our team is always happy to make recommendations. But it's really important that we're all cognizant of what's going on supply chain wise, because we do see a significant number of delays ever since the pandemic, still a trickle down effect with the supply chain. And so again, just don't catch yourself in a bind where you don't have a sofa or you don't have a bed. You don't have those key tentpole items because you've waited too long to place an order, right? You don't want to have to go and resort to lower grade quality just because you missed the mark on the timeline. Also, it's always helpful to have a backup plan. Delays do happen, things occur. And so just being cognizant of the average length of time that it will take from the date of your close to the date that you're able to rent the property is really important. And lead times weigh in very heavily there. And my personal favorite, the last truth to furnishing is, again, going back to the whole ethos of Minoan that I talked about at the top of the call. It's really positioning yourself differently in the market, or thinking of yourself differently in the market than you probably do right now. Thinking of yourself as a four-walled influencer for these brands and realizing and recognizing the immense power that you have and how that can play into the return on investment that you're going to see. Again, we think of you all not just as real estate investors or as customers for our brand partners. We are positioning you all as showrooms. We're thinking of you as marketing partners for these brands. And there is so much value in, if you guys are taking the time to create a thoughtful design and bring in nice quality products and house people at that property for a weekend, a week, a month, multiple months. Think about how impactful those moments that are happening in your rental can be. And if you think of it that way, again, it can completely shift the economics. And we at Minoan have made that possible to capitalize on both sides. So I've talked a lot about, you can log in, you can purchase everything that you need for your rental at deep discounted prices, right? Once guests are at the property, you can also capitalize on the moments that you're creating in the home. We call this our Minoan showrooms. This goes back to, again, that experience that our founder, Mark, had at that property in upstate New York, where he was asking the host for, all of these items. Where can I purchase this? That host wasn't earning a kickback on anything that sold in that space. With Minoan, we split the profit share 50-50 with our property partners. So if you create a showroom for your rental, right, you're earning a commission on anything that sells. Now, again, you've already now bought the item at a discounted price up front. So you've already saved money. And now you're able to earn a kickback if a guest loves that item and wants to purchase it and is so inspired. And so it, again, goes back to the quality of the products that you're able to invest in. You can, afford to get some nicer, higher quality items at discounted prices, knowing that you're saving up front and you're also bringing in incremental revenue if any of those items sell in the space. So in conclusion, the learnings from today, it's really be thoughtful about your space, be thoughtful about the products that you're putting in, the quality of those products. Are they going to withstand the test of time? If they need to be restocked or replenished, or they look funky in the house, making sure that you are updating them routinely and keeping that property looking fresh so that the reviews reflect the experience that the guest is having. Create systems, especially as you think about scaling your portfolio. It's going to get harder to manage all of these orders in your inbox or on receipts on your desk. So make sure that you have, again, a place to really organize and streamline things. Don't underinvest in those crucial areas. Remember that Manan Matrix that we talked about, balancing aesthetics and functionality, and really focusing on investing in high traffic areas where your guests are going to spend the majority of their time. And be a curator. It's really fun. It can be a very overwhelming process to furnish a home, but there's also so much that can be, so much fun that can be had in curating a cool experience for your guests. And it really does, it all feeds back into the ROI, the properties. I mean, we've compared multiple, multiple properties now that can be truly down the street from one another. One is better designed. It has higher quality products. The photos are stronger, right? And it will outperform time and time again a property down the street where, that investment hasn't been made. And so just thinking about that, again, not skimping on that process as you go to get a property live is really, really important. With that,
I love that. Allie, can you make sure you put in the chat box where everyone listening, you can say it and also put it in there, but it's if you want to share it too verbally for those who are going to watch the recording too, that'd be great.
Perfect. I just commented it in, and I should say, so with this link, you'll get $25 off your first order with Minoan. Minoan also is a completely free platform. So there's no membership fee, there's no subscription fee, there's no cost to join. We make our money via our brand partners. And so we're able to keep the platform totally free for real estate investors like yourselves.
I love that. Gina's asking, are you saying by using Minoan, you become an affiliate, and not sure how I would get paid for referring?
Yeah, good question. So essentially, yes. It's very similar to becoming an affiliate, except for instead of building your own platform or using like a multitude of links, we create that e-commerce experience that I showed here for you. So again, because if you're purchasing everything for your property through us, we have all of this information. We can pipe it into a showroom. And again, guests will have a one-stop shop rather than, having to click on multiple links and purchase from elsewhere. But yes, this is, you can almost think of us as an affiliate, because on anything that sells, you'll be earning a kickback.
Which is super cool. I'd love to get some questions from everyone on. I also love that, Allie, you're a customer and of this process. So I'd love to hear like an example, of when you optimized and jumped in here and utilized the system, the affiliate system, how it helped you with your short-term rental, what happened, and then how it also just was a really, good experience. I'd love to hear like a case example, if you don't mind, while we wait for some questions.
Yeah, definitely. I think the real value comes even before you've set up the showroom and you've become an affiliate. So I do want to stress that. So, I discovered Minoan more so from a discount perspective up front, if I'm being totally candid, because furnishing properties is very costly.
It's very expensive.
Yeah.
And you can't skimp on it. I just want to say that I love what you said. Like, people skimp on furnishings and they skimp on photos. And it's like, you look at these photos and it's just, I don't know what they were like. Did they take this with like a 5-year-old phone? Like, this is horrible.
Totally.
But go on. Sorry.
No, and we always say like buy nice or buy twice. I think we've all experienced just
Yeah.
forget in, with our real estate. But, we've all purchased those items where it's like, oh, I'm not going to buy, I love a Amazon dupe. So I'm not one to talk. Oh, I'm going to skimp on
Yeah.
buying, nice Lululemon leggings, and I'm gonna buy these, $15 ones. They might suffice for a little while, but usually it ends up being, oh man, I've had these, really expensive athleisure
So true.
leggings for years, and these ones fell apart, right? And we've
Yep.
all experienced that with furniture as well.
Yep.
And everyone wants a deal. I totally understand that. And again, you've just gone through making this major investment in a property. And so it feels like, how can I possibly pour more money into this when I'm still in the red? But um, again, by using Minoan, like by being savvy and just investing in the right places, you can stretch your dollar to go the furthest. And the people that do prioritize and spend time up front, in making the property look nice, photographing it to look beautiful, like they always make their money back. And so I think that was just a real life experience for me, as well as like several of our customers that I've worked with, where, they're like, oh, wow, okay, if I have a X amount, budgeted, if I use Minoan, I can get more things, or I can get higher quality products up front. Not to mention, again, I can create a showroom for my property. And if guests stay and they love the linens, by the time a guest has purchased 5 of those linens, it's already paid for the cost of, the linens up front. And so it's just really reframing the way that you're thinking about, again, that initial investment, and then also the
I
the
love
back.
that. I love that because, I think that's the name of the game right now, Allie. Because, I was on a podcast the other day, and the person said, how are people thriving, with higher interest rates, and deals not penciling out? These are real things, right? It's not the days of just buying a property on the MLS, very easily with no competition, under market. It's just, those are harder to find, and a lot of people are not even finding them that way. It's creativity, and it's also taking a property and maximizing the return. So to your point, this investment, and then I'm going to be able to get a higher reviews, which then more money can come. You're hitting it from two ends, and that's really the key right now. To be honest, if you're going to thrive and grow your portfolio, you have to be thinking that
Yeah.
creatively, both on like short term or long term, your shtick, or midterm rentals, whatever your focus is. But still, it's the multiple avenues. And then to your point, I'm getting the nice linens. People are going to be like, oh, I want those, because
Yeah.
they have the cheap ones at home, and they kind of overspend for vacation, and then you can actually. I love that. That's just so cool.
We all saw in the pandemic, everyone rushed in to invest
Yeah,
in real estate, and rightly so. It's great, but it caused so much oversaturation and competition
totally,
in the market.
absolutely.
And we really believe, and we've seen just based on the data that we look at, that the folks in the middle and the bottom are getting lost. It really
Hands
is.
down.
It really is the nicer properties, and the investors that are prioritizing, that end up being able to sustain in the market that we're currently in.
Yeah, that's so true. Okay, so we got some questions here. Melissa is asking, are there different levels of furnishing, i.e. basic for college student rentals, standard, or for MTRs, luxury, or for STR? So is there different levels of furnishing? Okay.
Yeah, that's a great question. Another like learning that I don't have in here, is knowing your avatar. I think
Yeah,
that's a big one.
huge.
And so, your property should look very different if you're servicing college students and bachelor and bachelorette parties in downtown Nashville than
Yep.
it does in a luxury market where you're servicing, families, or, a romantic getaway for a
Yeah.
couple. But the same premise still exists, in terms of like the quality, because the durability of products is going to be really important. And, especially if you're servicing large groups or college students, the wear and tear on those properties is substantial. And I gave the example again, not to knock. I use Amazon because it's so convenient and we see so many people order from them, and it's great because it's really speedy. But if you're servicing college students and you get a futon on Amazon, like it's going to fall apart. It's going to fall apart in a matter of months. And in reality, the money spent on replacing that item 4 months down the road, 6 months down the road, or even every year is going to be really, really costly. And so, knowing your avatar, knowing how design forward it has to be, I think is one thing. But again, think about the durability and if we look at the matrix, like the functionality is really important.
And I also think that like what really matters, like the sheets matter, like the towels. That's the first thing. And I'm like literally the cheapest person you ever meet, and I've worked through that in my own personal life because I really had to. Yeah. But towels is like such an obvious you don't want to chintz. And then I've gone to Airbnbs where I'm using the towel and I'm like, I like this towel. Because so I love that idea. It's like, and I would imagine because you are dealing with so many different operators that you're able to really source, like, what do people really care about? And that's really part of the value that you also you bring to the table. So I just want to mention that you have a sourcing here, which I think women and our communities tapping into that as well, not just the savings. I just want to say
and Liz, you just hit on a really interesting point. I mean, linens and towels are one thing that definitely people tend to skimp on. Another thing to keep in mind is that you're buying for a commercial space at the end of the day. And so, happy to share some recommendations, but we work with a lot of linen providers that are hospitality grade products.
Correct.
What does that mean? Well, it means that it's the same type of towel, or, the quality of that product is the same as Hilton or Marriott are putting into their spaces. And you might be thinking, oh, well, that's expensive. It's not, because right. You can purchase them in bulk at a discount. So it actually ends up being more affordable. Mm-hmm. And the linens will last so much longer. They're used to holding up against commercial grade laundering. Whereas, I love Costco, but Costco towels, right. That's made for your home. Those are not made for to withstand like the test of time. And so that's another thing, again, going back to like the quality, you should be purchasing commercial grade quality.
Love that. It's a really good just rule of thumb. This anonymous attendee. I can't view the website as we listen. Can you give us a case scenario and some price points, for example?
Yeah. So on average, I think our average order savings just across the board is, I believe the last number we looked at was like 36% off. But just to preface, the discounts do range, and they range by brand. So I always recommend and again, I can add the link here.
Yeah.
If you want to go ahead and sign up, again, platform is totally free. There's no cost associated. You'll be able to log in and see all of our brand partners and the discounts that correlate. Again, that's our average savings. I think another thing to mention is that we always pride ourselves on these discounts being trade or better. What that means is, if you're working with an interior designer, for example, there are kind of baseline trade discounts that these brands will give out to businesses.
Okay.
Because of the size of our network, our discounts are always going to be at trade, but typically steeper. So again, I always recommend looking. And what the nice thing is, I mentioned this before, but we have, really, really high-end brands that are amazing and more luxury. And we have some more like quality players in the space. And so there should be a price point for everyone. And also it spans across multiple verticals. So I think that's another thing. Several of you have been like, oh, I just furnished a property. It's not just furniture brands, it's linens, it's mattresses, it's decor, it's
Yeah.
um, tech, right? Like if you need a smart lock for your property, really it's for, any stage of the game. So you can think of us all the way from furnishing from scratch to replenishment.
I love that. And I think it's also really powerful. Um, it's really powerful for the people that are not design oriented, right?
Yes.
You are really like, in essence, like I didn't realize the depth of this. This is great for me to understand as well. Because you don't have the ideas. I don't just have that. I don't personally have that creativity. I'm like the worst at it.
Yeah.
I could use a lot of help, but that is also part of the benefit, because then you could start to see what's being that's cool.
Yeah, we
Very
have a
cool.
lot of so I always preface we ourselves are not designers and we don't have designers on staff. So we always say like you can bring your own designer. So if you're working with a designer, they
Sure.
can, and but we have a lot of great like inspirational resources for you.
That's what
And
I mean. Yeah,
yeah,
that's what I was speaking
it's
to.
a
Yeah,
great place to like to find new brands. I think everyone, and they're amazing, they're our partners, but like everyone knows the Wayfarers, the Pottery Barns, the Crate and Barrels, the West Elms of the world, but there's also some really cool brands out there that can make your space feel very unique and very elevated and are still price conscious,
yeah,
um, that you might not know about. So it's a
right.
good platform for like discovery and
That's
inspiration
what
too.
I mean. I'm like, God, I need all the help I can get. All right, Christina, you're asking how much would you estimate the cost to furnish a 4-bedroom single family home for an MTR?
Mm. Oh man, it's really it's such a wide range. And so I almost hesitate to give a number, just because it depends, do you have, I think you have to factor in a lot of things. Um, Again, like do you have items already for the home? I think
Sure,
that's one. If you have an old property or you're able to bring in some things already, that can cut down on cost. Um, I like to think like for, yeah, it's really hard for me to give a number. But I would have, again, I think the most important thing is you should know what that number is upfront for yourself on based on the deal that you're calculating. Like
sure.
what does that number look like for you? And then really prioritizing staying in the bounds. The other thing there is, again, thinking about your market. Is it luxury? Is it, if it's a midterm rental, and it's, kind of middle of the road, then that looks very different than,
Sure.
um, a short-term rental like Getaway that's supposed to be
Yeah.
really luxe and over the.
Luxury, exactly, like right on the beach. Yep, that's a really good perspective. Christina, you're following up. Do you help with stocking the house as a whole, including dishes, kitchenware, TVs, exercise equipment, etc.?
Yep, we have a bunch of brands that have kitchen supplies. We actually just launched like a curated list of the essential items that you need to put in the home. I think that's an interesting one. Like, um, you know, if you think about the kitchen items, there's like hundreds, there could be hundreds of
Yeah,
items that you need for the kitchen, right? Especially if it's a midterm rental, and you're thinking about someone that's going to be using the property, staying there, cooking there, right? You want to make sure that you have pots and pans, a can opener, a wine opener, So
sure.
we have resources that can help when you're starting out, but yeah, we have everything from dishware to I mentioned smart locks. We work with Dyson, and have access to their fans and their hair dryers, and so it runs the gamut.
Yeah, makes
Samsung
sense.
is a big television partner of ours, so.
That's great. And then last question here, at what percent in the budget? Well, this is kind of back to it depends, but is there just a general budget, a percent in the budget that you would allow for furnishing, or a range? Does it really depend?
It really does depend. I
Okay.
mean, we've seen, you know, but what I will say is we work with a lot of like designers in the space that will help people with furnishing. And that's when I'm looking at that, that's like a from scratch project. Again, I don't know the exact, like, it's hard for me to know, is it a 3-bedroom house? Is it a 4-bedroom house? But those orders, again, that's everything from everything that goes in the kitchen to multiple bedrooms, outdoor furniture, etc. But you're looking at like an average order value of anywhere from 30,000 to like 40,000. So it can feel very significant. Like that changes the numbers of your initial investment. And so
Sure.
set aside a good amount, you know, and try to save where you can, which is why I'm so bullish on real estate investors using our platform, because I think it saves them a significant amount.
All right, this is definitely the last question. Could you detail how the affiliate opportunity works further? For example, is there a QR code posted for guests to scan? Well, that's a great idea. Is there a QR code posted for guests to scan the? Okay, that's kind of how.
So how it works.
That's awesome.
Is when you, again, you know, if you're purchasing through Minoan, our team actually will proactively reach out to you and ask if you're interested in setting something like this up. Again, we take on all the heavy lifting of building this website. That's one of the benefits. All we need from you is imagery of your space. And then we'll ship you these custom QR codes. Well, I mean, one of the things that I think is really important to stress here too is we never want to what we call NASCAR the space, right? Like, you know, I'm saying you guys are marketing partners, you're showrooms for these brands. I think innately the mind goes to, oh my God, are there like QR codes on everything?
It's like, whoa, this is intense. Yeah.
Exactly. No, like that wouldn't be a good experience for anyone.
Sure.
And so it is like very subtle. And again, it's this nice powder coated stand that you can really just put in the main room. And again, we route all of the orders. So that's another common question. It's like, all right, well, if someone buys something, like, am I responsible? No, like we will route all the orders and then we will give you a commission back once things have sold.
For pretty much not doing anything. So I love that. That's great.
Yeah, really send us pictures of your property and we'll give it.
No, this has been great. I'd love to hear from everyone. One thing you learned, what action you're going to take. You know, I think there's so many great tips that you shared, Allie, along the way here, and really the creativity of maximizing your investment. I mean, that's the key right now, across the board. And this is one fantastic way to do that because it's easy lift. So I'd love to hear in the chat box as we wrap here, one thing you learn, one action you'll take. That is what we stand for with our community. That's what we stand on. Everything that we do in terms of webinars, meetups, our Investor Con, really want to move the needle in creating the wealth that you deserve and keeping more of it. And this is one really great resource to do that as well. So Shindell, which pieces to invest in? I'm going to check out the site. Awesome. Definitely do that. Appreciate you being here. Invest in great photos. Yes, Anna, you cannot chintz on that at all. And I'll just say this quickly. The reason why sometimes people chintz on it is because bookings are happening, right? The bookings are coming in, they're doing well. And then you look at these pictures. The pictures are usually horrible for the rentals that are actually highly booked. And that's where you're going to get, that's where laziness kind of sets in. And then you see a competitor come in and go, oh, hold on, so do it at the front end and then keep it up, whether your bookings are high or low. But people always defer those kinds of things that they're doing well. And that is like a rookie mistake, in my opinion.
Yeah, because then you have to like cut through your success and make sure that there's a period of time where there's no guests so that someone can get in there, take pictures, or they can make updates, right?
Absolutely.
So just get it done at the front of the setup, and it'll, in the long run, you know, you might have to wait a couple more days at the onset, but business is just, the flywheel will be so much stronger.
Exactly. So really appreciate your time, Allie, and good luck with your next stage of life. You're going to be amazing at it, and you know, just take it all in. But thank you everyone for being on. Do something with what you learned. Take some action. It's a free resource for you. And I'm just super excited to buy a short-term rental, and I'm going to be working with you. So
Awesome. It was
Have-
great being here. Thank you for having me. And if you need absolutely anything, please, there's contact information on the website that goes directly to myself and my team,
yeah,
and we are here to help.
yeah, which I love. So thanks again, Allie. Appreciate everyone being on, and do something with what you learned. Take some action. Bye, everyone.
Thanks, guys.